overvaluation, because if you compare to the international markets, I mean, our artists are still really earning much low for the work that they produce. But I think the second and third level of artists are not visible. The whole market is not transparent enough that the real price and value is not getting discovered.
Okay, and as Mr. Mashra was just mentioning a short while back, a fresh investor does need to do his own homework as well. I mean, how did you go about doing your homework?
The way I went about building the portfolio, and I was advised by Koppal in that way, is that obviously I could not, because of the size of the portfolio, go in for the masters. So I was looking at the second level of artists, and I put almost 75% of my portfolio on not really upcoming artists, but reasonably established artists. Not definitely the masters, but people who had a fairly good track record. About 25% of my portfolio was really a punt that I was taking in terms of whether they would appreciate or not. But since I was entering this more from my interest of art and having the appreciation of value more as icing on the cake than on the basic reason for my investment, I was comfortable investing in the upcoming artists, and I did really go by the recommendations of Koppal and others when I selected the second and the third tier of artists within my portfolio.
Mr. Vajpayee, is there perhaps a way of looking at a new breed of artists that come through each time that there is a correction in the market? I mean, from an equity market standpoint, whenever the market rallies and a few sectors take it up, and then there is a crash, you find a new set of sectors that takes the market higher. Do you see something similar like that in the art market as well, where new perhaps artists come in each time there is a correction, and they could perhaps be the masters of tomorrow perhaps? Is there a way of identifying that?
I don't know whether there is a way, except that this phenomena does take place, but whether it is a systematic way of emergence, I have no idea. But I would still say that the Indian art scene today is one of the most vital, energetic and dynamic scene perhaps in the world. Today, the real fury, creative fury perhaps of the younger generation is finding its expression best in the Indian visual art. And therefore, it is the time for the Indian market or Indian investing agencies to look at this phenomena not merely with some wonder and astonishment, but also with a sympathetic eye and with a supportive hand.
I'm going to begin Mr. Gava at this point. When we're talking about this discussion here today, you really feel the world of art and the world of investment do match at some point?
From an investment point of view, yes, perhaps if you're looking at long term, because art to me as I see it is that you buy today and don't sell it tomorrow. Perhaps you buy today and give it to your grandson. Then perhaps it establishes its value many-fold. At the same time, I would say, now at this point of time, after you've tested the waters, it is better to go in for established artists, because they in turn will value you more over a period of time than the new novice artist at this point of time. So there certainly is a correlation. It's like buying an A-grade stock today or buying penny stocks. The choices of the time. So there certainly is a correlation out here.
Ashish, you want to comment on that? I mean, how do you basically value it? Is auctions perhaps the only way to go ahead and value it? Because you don't have fundamentals, you don't have earnings or anything like that. So how much is marketing of a particular painting, and how significant a role is auctions to determine the actual value of an artist and a painting?
I think in the public domain to determine the value, the auction is definitely the best and probably the only way of determining the value of a particular artist. Because if there are private deals which happen between an artist or a collector, or a gallery and a collector, those numbers are not published or available in the public domain. So the auction does set the price level benchmark for you. Now, in terms of time frames, today as I see it, and the 2 years that I've been studying art more from a financial perspective as well, I find that the masters will appreciate very fast. The absolute upcoming artists, which is a bit of a lottery. Some of them may appreciate extremely fast, some of them may remain where they are.
Right.
And the mid-level artists will give you a steady rate of growth.
Okay, let's take another break on that note. Lots more to talk about and how to choose your artists when we come back in just a couple of minutes. Keep it here. back to this episode of Artwise, where we're discussing how to get to pick an artist and know an artist more importantly. Mr. Vajpayee, where does this leave contemporary artists and new artists? We've been discussing about the appreciation of the masters, the national heritage artists and their works. The big question is, if an investor is coming in, he's going to look for a fairly respectable price point to enter, and he's probably going to be targeting contemporary if you're talking about the average middle class Indian. Where does this leave them? Is there a value proposition here?
Let me put it this way. People who have limited financial resources had better trade in this very, very carefully, and after acquiring enough knowledge about what they are entering in the first place. Secondly, no point in entering the world of art if you don't appreciate art. The short point is that first start looking at art carefully and sensitively, and have a slightly longish experience. Those who are looking for quick returns, that they buy a work of art and 2 months later they will be able to sell it, they had better not come there. There are other areas of investment in which they could go. Art is a long-term project, both in terms of its creative dimensions and also its financial implications.
Right, Mr. Gaba, you're ready to give an investment that much patience?
In fact, yes. In fact, I would say that you buy art with an intention not to sell. You enjoy it so much that you want to keep it for yourself. That's the value of art.
What's a good time to profit book?
I think art is one more asset class if you look at it purely from an investment point of view. And you have liquid investments like stocks, which you can sell even it on the same day. You have real estate, which certainly has a longer time frame on which you would trade if you treated it as a pure investment. And so is art. It has a slightly longer term investment time frame. You can't definitely compare them with stocks. So if I have to draw a parallel, I would compare art as an investment with the kind of time frame that one looks at real estate as an investment.
Right. On that note, let's wrap the show. I hope it's been an educational experience for you as much as it has been for us.
Absolutely. Thank all our guests for their inputs. We'll of course be back next week with more discussions and focusing on how to go about making money in art and if it's a value proposition for you.
Thanks for watching.
Brought to you by Copal, the world's biggest delivery-linked art fund. A Bloomberg UTD Pulse initiative.